Hello and welcome to Paris Set Me Free mini photo tutorials. What you're looking at here is a pretty grey and murky puddle with a couple of drain covers, and in the puddle you can see maybe what looks like a very famous Paris monument called Sacré-Cœur. Now, I'm not sure if I've talked about puddles before, but let's start now. As you're walking along, reflections are great things to look for, and puddles often give good reflections. Now, it's not always very easy to get exactly something really great reflected in a puddle. Puddles are wherever they are, and they don't necessarily correspond to what you would like reflected in them. So you either have to walk around squatting down, trying to squint into the puddle to see if you can get something interesting in there, or walk around the monument looking for an appropriate puddle. As it was, I was on a tour around Sacré-Cœur. This is in a little park around the back of Sacré-Cœur, and it's got a fantastic view of a side which you don't normally see, and it had been raining, and lo and behold, a puddle, and quite a wide one as well. Often it's a problem because to have a nice view of a big monument, you need a puddle which has a certain amount of largeness. I was going to say depth, but depth isn't what it's about. It needs to be quite a wide puddle so that you've got enough of the picture in there. Now, this might not seem a very exciting picture, and you're right, because this was the very first one that I took. So let's have a look at how I progressed through my photo taking process. Here's the next one. I was walking around trying to see if I could get a nice view of Sacré-Cœur, and you can see also here that there are some railings which look good there and there, kind of framing the main dome. There's a second dome there. I like these drain covers as well. I didn't want to lose those because they give a sense of the fact that it's a puddle, that it's the ground. And here, almost below the ground, you've got one of the highest, most spectacular monuments in Paris, so it's kind of curious. Right, carrying on my attempts. There's another one. I've obviously squatted down there. If you compare the drain cover in this one to this one, you can see that I've squatted down, making this much less thick, as it were. But the result is I get more of what's in the puddle. Carrying on, another attempt. Still the same sort of thing. A bit blurred, that one. Again, I'm starting to get the framing that I want. You see, I'm keeping these in the picture, but there's something missing. And the something that was missing for me is the human element. Oh, look, there I was trying to get a bit of a leaf in. So I thought, let's put a human in there. And here comes my human, right there. Legs. Of course, this was the human that I happened to be with. And there's no reason why you shouldn't get people to pose. If you need someone to be a little black figure in a beautiful scene that you have, a row of arches, and you happen to be with someone, just ask them to do it. Or if you're not with them, find someone and see if they're willing to. Okay, so there we're getting towards what I'm looking for. There's another attempt. You see, I'm trying to get the legs. When you've got someone walking, it's nice to have the legs open as they're striding. Otherwise, it doesn't show the movement so much, and it can just be another blob. So that was the second attempt with my human, and there's the third one. And the third one, as you might guess, is the one that I chose. Why? Because in the shadow, look, the legs are nicely striding the third little tower, and there's also this nice kind of diamond shape there, with the little Notre Dame tower, the Sacré-Cœur tower in the middle, which is the same as this bit here. The drain cover's nice on the top left there. You've got a nice view of the big dome. So there it is. And I think that was the final one I took of that, which eventually turned into this. Oh yes, not exactly the same. So let's go back. What have I done? This is actually the same photograph. I haven't changed photos. It's the same photograph. What have I done? Well, first of all, I've turned it upside down. Upside down, yes, but it's the right way up. You may be saying to yourself, yes, but haha, it is the right way up in the puddle, but the original is not the right way up. The original is like this, and it's kind of funny to turn your puddle pictures upside down so that the things that are in the puddle are the right way up, and then it can sometimes confuse people for a few seconds, which is nice. They say, hang on a second, what's going on here? It's obviously not a direct picture of Sacré-Cœur, but there's a person walking past. Have you taken it through some sort of a frame of some sort? Is it reflected in a frosty window? And it's only after a little while. Sometimes people they might even think this is a cloud or something, and then they start saying, "Hang on, wait a minute, what's that? Oh, it's a leaf." Then they start seeing the gravel, and the railings and so on, and then they think, "Ah, interesting." So it's a nice photo. It was also so grey and yucky that I really had to do something a bit over the top with the colours, otherwise it would just be an unbelievably boring, dull and flat picture. So I zapped it up, put lots of nice colours in, saturated the colours and so on, got the grainy, the gravelly grainy bits even more gritty looking. You can see what's happened in the shadow there. Particularly, this comes up particularly in dark shadow areas. You can see lots of lovely grain, which is in fact the muddy bottom of the puddle, where because the shadow is black, it's not really. You can see through to the bottom of the puddle much more so than when it's light. Here you see it's reflecting something white, the white sky. You can't see anything of the puddle or the actual ground at all. So there it is, daring to be a little bit different. First of all, bit of creativity by taking something in a puddle, bit of work on composition, setting it up as well as possible, a bit of ingenuity by getting someone to do something, adding a human element, not only walking past nicely in the top right hand corner to fill that gap, but actually interacting with the thing that is in the puddle as well, in a quite a good way. I mean, I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I'm saying that one of my techniques was to take quite a lot of shots, waiting until I just happened to get these legs right. That's something you've got to work with. And then a bit of trickery and skullduggery, turning it upside down and zapping it around to make what's a rather intriguing photo. That was my Sacré-Cœur moment. Thanks for watching. You can see a good quality version of this on the blog at parissetmefree.blogspot.com. See you next time. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.